Shortly after Joe Biden won, and it looked like control of the U.S. Senate was going to come down to 2 seats in Georgia, we knew that the best case scenario was 50-50, with Democrats technically having a majority because Kamala Harris gets to cast the tie-breaking 51st vote if all 50 Democrats are on the same page about a particular issue or bill or whatever the case may be. And so when we knew that that was going to be the scenario, I started talking about Joe Manchin. And as the most conservative Democratic senator in the U.S. Senate, I said back in November, December, Joe Manchin could be a formidable impediment to Joe Biden getting things done that he claims that he wants to do. And my audience was split. Some in my audience understood the magnitude of it. They understood why I was talking about Joe Manchin. Some denied it and said, nah, Joe Manchin's not going to really be that big of an obstacle. As we are clearly seeing now with Joe Manchin opposed to so much of what Joe Biden wants to do, we realize that he is indeed a formidable obstacle. And now on top of this, we're learning something about why, and it's absolutely horrifying. In an interview with CNN over the weekend, Senator Joe Manchin straight up says the January 6th Trump riots made him realize that we need bipartisanship and we need to placate the rioters. Wait, what? He correctly says in this clip that I'm going to play for you that he was shocked by the direct attack on the basic institutions of government and democracy on January 6th, as we all should have been, and many of us were. But Joe Manchin says it made him decide he needs to seek bipartisanship, period. He can't just go along with whatever Joe Biden wants to do. The violence and what is essentially the terrorism, the hostage taking, it worked in exactly the way that the terrorists wanted. He is saying, when terrorists hold me hostage, I negotiate with them. Listen to him, and then we're going to talk about it more.
January 6th changed me, and I was very clear with everybody. I never thought in my life, I never read in history books to where our form of government had been attacked at our seat of government, which is Washington, D.C., at our capital, by our own people. Now, the British did it, but not Americans. So something told me, wait a minute, pause, hit the pause button. Something's wrong. You can't have this many people split to where they want to go to war with each other.
Can you imagine? Joe Manchin now stands in the way of much of what Joe Biden wants to do because he wants bipartisanship. Thanks to people who stormed the Capitol and did violence and committed crimes and wanted the loser, Donald Trump, to be installed as president, right? That's what they wanted. Completely anti-democratic, completely against the law, completely against everything the country supposedly stands for. Whether Joe Manchin intends to or not, whether Joe Manchin realizes it or not, he is encouraging them to do it again. The reaction to the violent riots should not be, that really shocked me that they were willing to do that. So I'm going to be more bipartisan and play to their side so that we don't have as big of a disagreement in this country between right and left. That's the wrong reaction. He is playing to those who rioted, saying, I will now vote in the Senate in a different way that will be closer to what those who rioted want. The reaction should be those who rioted should be held accountable. There should be consequences rather than rewards. He's talking about rewarding them. We must not give the impression that what they did on January 6th is valid political speech or activism. If you do what they did on January 6th, they should get nothing from Joe Manchin or anybody. You should be invalidating voices that use crime to get their points across. And yet Joe Manchin is saying, the rioters made me realize we're too divided. So, I'm not going to go with stuff Joe Biden wants if there isn't Republican support. What? He wants to bridge the gap between the rioters and the non-rioters? Give me a break, Joe. The primary takeaway from January 6th is that we have to protect the country from the influence of people who are willing to do what the rioters did. We should be giving them no role in policy or governance whatsoever, not to cater to them. This is backwards logic from Joe. It's not even logic, quite frankly. I don't know what there's no logic here. It changed him, he says, apparently for the worse. They intimidated him and it worked. He should be recommitting to only consider the ideas of non-rioters. It's a completely bizarre argument and reaction. They were trying to kill him, and his reaction is, let me give them more of what they want. After 9/11, should we have said, maybe we should look at giving Al-Qaeda some stuff? I don't know. I mean, they were really angry, and so they did 9/11. Maybe that anger means we should give them some stuff. It's backwards. It's backwards. So that's Joe Manchin giving us now a framework. We've been wondering, what is it with Joe Manchin? We now understand the framework under which Joe Manchin is operating in the Senate. I don't know how you work with a guy like that. And, I know that we often have this debate. Well, just primary Joe Manchin and like put Bernie Sanders in. I don't think Bernie Sanders wins in West Virginia. I think you just get a Republican. It's about, we have to look at other places. I mean, sure, primary Manchin if you want. If you successfully do, it might lead to a Republican. But at the same time, we have to be looking at states, races in which in 2022, a Republican senator can be removed and a Democratic senator can be put in, hopefully one who is a more reliable vote than Joe Manchin has been. Let me know what you think. This strikes me as could not possibly be more backwards. Find me on Twitter at @Pakman. Let me know your thoughts.